I just think they have pied that word luxury because everybody just wants to connect with that word.
Yeah.
The term luxury is subjective. That your property is expensive doesn't mean it's luxury. There are other factors that combine to make your property luxury.
Very cheap towels, very cheap toilet accessories. It's not even a gourmet kitchen. Now, a gourmet kitchen is somewhere that you can actually bring a chef, a professional chef, and he has everything at his disposal, fully fitted to cook in your own kitchen, and you're selling for 1.1 million. I don't get it at all.
Hey, ethics. So please, let's have human feelings in all of these things we're doing.
The location is key. Like they tell you, there are three things that's important in property: location. But also, you cannot compromise location for quality, standard of finishings.
People that are the realtors, you guys are part of the reason why these properties are expensive. When are they calm down sometimes?
Let me correct that wrong notion. Realtors are not the problem. It takes two to tango.
Beautiful people, welcome to another insightful episode of The Real Deal Naija. You could also call us Thread Naija because here we are unbundling everything around the largest real estate market in Africa. Of course, you know, that is Nigeria. I still have with me in the studio
Mr. Okechukwu.
Frank Wabiani.
Thank you, sirs, for sticking with us. So,
Pleasure.
my question for this, right now, we're looking at the luxury myth. Luxury is relative, right? The luxury myth. Now, my question now is, why is real estate so expensive? You know, when we're talking about real estate investment, you're talking in the tone of millions, billions, such that the Gen Zs, the millennials, is almost like a far dream for them. So why, on behalf of the millennials and the Gen Zs and people who are having like an average means of income, why is real estate so expensive?
Okay. First of all, we should talk about location. Most locations are very prime. Very prime in the sense that they have is an exclusive community. There's privacy. There's this emotional or status appeal to those areas. And by mentioning areas, I mean, like, for example, Banana Island. There's Old Ikoyi. There's Lekki Phase 1. There's Ikate. I won't call Aja and the rest of them. Luxury, people confuse luxury for being expensive. Confuse expensiveness
for luxurious.
Being luxury. And it doesn't make sense to me at all. You would see fine homes, recently built homes, and they will tell you it's going for $1.1 million in Ikoyi. And the tiles are very cheap tiles, very cheap toilet accessories. It's not even a gourmet kitchen. Now, a gourmet kitchen is somewhere that you can actually bring a chef, a professional chef, and he has everything at his disposal, fully fitted.
Oh, interesting.
To cook in your own kitchen.
Now that's luxury.
And you're selling for 1.1 million. I don't get it at times. Baffles me.
Yes.
Amenities. Okay, addition to what you just said, I think I agree. The term luxury is subjective. So it's not all about that your property is expensive doesn't mean it's luxury. There are other factors that are combined to make your property a luxury.
Okay. Like?
There are intangible things. Maybe an environment that evokes emotional connection. You know, there's a property you see, you be like, wow. It brings back good memories. Yeah. Community living setting.
Yes. And then there's also this prospect of networking with other high-net individuals.
Community living I'm trying to talk about. There's a setting that you see, it gives you a feeling of community.
Then the amenities, you know, like golf course, waterfront properties.
Very disappointing. There's a celebrity who bought a home recently in Ikoyi, and who mentioned the area. And his generator house is just overlooking his swimming pool.
Whoa.
Beside the generator house is the security gatehouse. It means if you and madam, you guys are having fun in the pool,
then the security has a free show.
It doesn't really make sense. And they said it's luxury. And this house cost over 500 million naira. It doesn't really make sense to me.
These are, so for me, right, some of the things that people should consider. I think people are usually blinded by the sentimental value that is attached to a real estate, to a property. Okay, for instance, a realtor, a very popular realtor, we're not mentioning names, right? He was marketing a property for 900 million. And then this regular guy, a regular artisan, now comes up to drag him and said, the sink in this kitchen is the sink
Okay, I
that people
think I
will
saw
buy
it.
for 45,000 naira. Why are you not going for the smart sink? Look at the burglary, right? But the fact that somebody has, so people are saying, oh, you can't drag him because he's just doing his job as a realtor. And then the building is pretty modern. But when you look at the quality of the
fittings.
materials that they use, really, really, really substandard. So if the investors are not ready to spend so much money on the fitting, should they now prioritize the fact that the location is premium? And then does that excuse the finishing of the house?
No, I don't agree. The location is key. Like they tell you, there are three things that's important in property: location, location, location. But also, you cannot compromise location for quality or standard of finishings. So you need to get the right fittings, the right ambience that would attract and also make the prospective buyer stay.
Okay, Mr.
I
Frank.
just think they have pied that word luxury because
Yes,
everybody just wants to
Sell.
connect
Luxury.
with that
Yeah.
word.
Yes.
It has been abused. It has been, I don't know what to say.
Bastardized.
Yeah. That word will not come back to Nigeria in
I'm
its
telling you.
next life, like
Because every
allegedly
single thing
too.
they call it. It's okay to say, oh, communal living. It's okay
Yeah.
to say upscale living. There are other words for
Yes.
But not that same way. I can't even call
It's too
any
cliche.
longer.
Luxury.
It's cliche now.
Cliche, yes.
That word,
Mr. Frank, stray bullets.
Okay.
You people,
Hit me. Try.
you people that are the realtors,
Okay.
you guys are part of the reason why these properties are expensive. When are they calm down sometimes? Because by the time the developer factors in the price of the cost of commission, he's going to pay you guys. And then you too, you're coming with your inspection fee, you're coming with all of those things. Why now?
Okay, let me put it like this. Let me correct that wrong notion. Realtors are not the problem. It takes two to tango. You have in the property business, you have the realtors and you also have the owners.
Okay.
So if assuming a greedy realtor approaches you with a very ridiculous amount for fees or for property, of course it won't sell without the consent of the owner. So also, an owner has a part to play and the developer has a
It's
part
a
to play.
win for all. Why should you be greedy in the first place?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So people are quick to blame the realtors. It's not only realtors.
So is there like, what's the standard commission fee do you guys have? Or you just wake up and say, oh, I have a team of realtors
Okay.
that have solid selling capacity, pay us 25%.
Okay, although there's a standard figure, but it's not cast in stone. It's subject to negotiation. For rental, you could do for 10%, and for sales, 5%. But like I
Okay.
said, it's all about your
So
negotiation.
rental,
When is above
how many
1 billion?
percent?
That was about billion. When it
Okay.
goes to billions,
Goes to 2.5%.
probably to come down. Yeah.
Okay, so the higher the price, the
lower
lower
the
the,
commission.
the
The fees, yeah.
commission fee. Okay.
That's how it works.
Okay, so what happens to the realtors, or no, let me say people who sell property based on comparison, the fixed price based on comparison. For instance, I went through the hassle of buying a virgin land, doing all the documentation because government had no interest at that point, right? So I invested so much in making sure that the land, the property is okay by the books, right? And then I fix it at 25 million, for instance. And then somebody who is building, maybe mine is all the way in Ekpe, somebody who is having something around, say, Ikate, who did not have to go through all of that and saying, they're selling something for 25 million naira in Ekpe, and I am in the middle of civilization. Let me fix my price at 90 million naira. What do you have to say about that?
Well, there are so many factors involved.
Exactly.
Let me give you an example. I was talking to someone recently and I told him that we sold a 3-bedroom bungalow in one of our projects in Ibejuleki for 65 million. And he said, same 65 million, you will find a terrace. A terrace is on 2 floors.
Yes.
Ground floor plus 1 for 65. And he was wondering, why
Is it that?
why would the bungalow be that price? And I told him, I said, our terrain is, most parts of Lagos is swampy, but
Yes.
especially this on the island area. So on our foundation alone, we did 6 million.
Whoa.
Yes.
On just foundation.
On just foundation.
Interesting.
Exactly. And that's the major thing when it comes to building.
Yes,
The
yes,
substructure. If you don't get it right, then so when you put all this cost, you put your cost of land, cost of funds, cost of development, cost of statutory documentation, cost of transaction when you sell.
Okay.
Because of course you're going to pay an agent.
Yes.
Do you
And then
understand?
the sweat equity.
Exactly. The person that has pushed that property. And then your sweat equity. When you put all these things, factors together, it gives rise to how much you want to sell for.
And let me also add to what he said. You see, location is key, but also there's also a very important factor. Infrastructure is very key. Good drainage, street light, the fundamentals. If you don't have that fitted, it will affect your pricing. So, like you have, even in Lekki, you cannot compare. Nikon is before Lekki, but you know Nikon is more expensive than Lekki. You know
Lekki.
why? Because
It's the
infrastructure,
community.
infrastructure, and community too.
Okay.
So those are the factors.
Burna Boy's neighbor.
Oh, interesting.
I'm just using that for instance. I never blue check that.
Don't worry, we'll reach that level very soon.
I'm getting there.
Yeah,
Burna
sure.
Boy,
Most
watch
def,
out.
most def.
Okay, so neighborhood,
Yeah.
who is living in this? Is it appropriate justifying the pricing of that place? Because okay, for instance,
Because
this
it's a celebrity.
100%.
yes, a property that was going for 65 million suddenly.
Let me tell you how bad it is. There's a project currently along the Eleko corridor that has an actress as their brand ambassador.
Okay.
Just placing her name on that
On
project,
the project.
yeah, gave them
Rise of
a
Scarlet.
lot of sales.
So is it because of her fame or her integrity?
Her fame,
Both.
her fame,
Fame.
her fame,
More fame, anyway.
more fame, more fame. Because for integrity, you actually need to come very close to people to know
who they are.
if they have integrity or not. For fame, almost everybody knows her. You know,
Yes.
so it helps a lot.
So she has that.
That's exactly what. Sorry to
Cool.
butt in. That's exactly why you have brand ambassadors.
Okay. Yes.
They basically sell your products.
Yes.
So if you put a popular face or a celebrity, of course, naturally it will scale up yourselves. That's the truth about
You
it.
know, there's this thing also called topping.
Okay.
Toppings.
Okay.
Most realtors are also in the habit of, if the developer pushes property for example, 100 million,
Yeah.
the realtor pushes it out for maybe 110 or 120, and then gets a buyer,
The buyer.
to purchase, and then comes to say, Oga, let me be truthful. Oh. This was how much I pushed to the client. How much is coming to me?
It's called markup.
I
It's
see.
called markup. It's
Marking
called
up.
loading.
Interesting.
Has so many names.
So many.
It comes with the business.
Told you we're going to be giving you a lot of insider tips. I'm sure you're getting that already. So there's this in places like budding real estate places that has not really peaked. There's this concept, I'm sure that you're familiar with it, where an intending developer goes to probably an Omonile and he buys this property on credit. For instance, he's going for ₦1 million and he says, okay, give it to me on credit. I will give it to you. I'll buy for 1.1 million. So at the end of the day, on 10 plots, this is the additional money you're making, right? And then I factored in my 1.1 million naira. I also have to make profit. I add that in, and I have to add, other people, brown envelopes that I'm going to settle. Is that even legal at all?
It's legal.
Is that
Legal.
business?
It's actually a straightforward.
It's a solid business
transaction
strategy.
Business arrangement. It's there's nothing illegal about it. About pricing. That you could sell your mug, for example, for 1 billion, as far as you have a willing buyer.
Buyer.
That's what matters.
That's it. In every contract, the validity of a contract would always rest on offer, acceptance
Okay.
from the other party, and then consideration.
Okay.
Consideration is the amount of money that you pay for that.
Sure.
So once that transaction has been consummated, there's nothing that obviously
The other.
based on the intentions of the parties. So there's nothing wrong with that kind of arrangement.
Okay. So now.
It might be unethical
Okay.
But it's not unlawful.
Yes, thank you. That's unethical. So the fact that, so are we excusing the fact that, so now in this case, legality takes the upper hand to ethics?
Of course.
Oh, interesting.
He's a lawyer, so he said that.
Hey, ethics. So please, let's have human feelings in all of these things we're doing. Okay, so now we're agreeing on this table that can we just have like 4 pointers to why, just to answer the question. One. Why is real estate expensive? Just answer short, sharp.
Okay. First of all, inflation. The rising cost of building materials. 2 years ago, we bought an iron rod for about 450,000 per ton.
Okay.
Today, even yesterday,
Yeah.
I
It's
bought
going up.
for 1.29.
Keeps going up, yeah.
1,295,000 for 1 ton of iron
What?
rod. So that has,
Really,
pushed the
Price.
price of properties upwards. Cement, the same thing. Granite, with the removal of subsidy also,
yes.
transportation of most of these things to your site, you'd hear,
Gone up.
if I'm going to supply you cement, I'll do 10,500 per bag
Logistics.
for logistics.
Logistics.
So a lot of things has also contributed to the high cost
The
of
high.
properties.
Okay.
And also, I could chip into documentation. The cost of documentation with Lagos State, relevant
Yeah.
authorities.
And even the approvals,
Gone up, yeah, approvals. yeah.
permits.
Yeah, permits.
Okay. So we also talked about the environmental factor, right? The location. The
It's key.
location is very, very key also. Land, like bare land, and then housing.
That's cost of land.
Yes, the
Cost of land,
No,
cost
for
of
people who
construction.
sell just no. Now I'm talking about people who sell just, because when we're talking about real estate, it's not just the house, right?
course, of course.
There's the land, just the bare land, and then there's already constructed buildings. Which one do you think people have the tendency of padding a lot of monies into to just make it look fat? Is it land or the house?
I think on both sides, but I think there's more probability with the land sales. Yeah.
How so?
Because of the flexibility and inflation. Coming.
Okay.
You know that
So
once you've built on a land,
It's different.
there's very little
Yeah.
little that you can do
you
with that,
can
with that
markup what you
property.
could do.
okay.
Yeah, because if it's residential, it's residential. You can't make it commercial.
Commercial.
If it's commercial, it's commercial. You can't make it industrial, except it's mixed use.
Okay.
But for a land, you can put it to any use
Okay.
that you want to put it to. And so, people prioritize pushing the cost up for
For
land,
land.
more than, even though land
Finished
does not eat,
structure.
Finished structure,
it does
yeah.
not drink water, or there's no maintenance,
Yeah,
but it's more
yes.
expensive.
Definitely. Most definitely.
Because it is a more flexible
Yeah.
asset. All right, people, you have heard it. Now we've answered why is real estate expensive. Now you have heard that this developers, they don't just wake up and put price. Of course, there is the ethical and the sentimental and the legalities and all of that. But whatever it is you're doing, make sure, always make sure that the money you're putting on the table is worth the asset that you're buying. So at the end of the day, you don't go around crying about having your fingers burnt or getting into a wrong investment. Mr. Oke mentioned that at the end of the day is consent and agreement. As long as you are consenting to a purchase, then already you can't cry wolf when the deal has been done. Thank you for joining us on today's episode. I'm sure you found it really, really insightful. Please drop your comments. We would love to read from you. We want to have your questions. Your questions are going to serve as guidance for us to come up with more insightful topics for you. So follow us, subscribe, and share. We are looking forward to seeing you in another insightful episode.